3n minus 2, does it work?
I didn't make the equation, so I don't know what to type into the calculator, but 3n, so 3 times 1, so 2 equals
If we
1.
substitute 3n for n, what do we get?
So 3 times 3 and then minus 2, so that'd be 1.
Well, with
Equals 3. So then if we give it 2,
well, if we substitute 3n, we have to do the exponent first, right?
yeah,
So 3 minus 2 is
1,
1. 3 to the first power is
3.
we're supposed to get 9. Your chart tells me 9.
Yeah, alright.
So how can we alter that?
So then you subtract it, and then it goes just to 3n.
All right, let's check 3n.
So
3 to the third.
3 times 3, 9.
3 to the third.
2 to the third, so 3 times 3 times 3, that equals 27.
Huh. One time we were at
Oh wait, wouldn't it be
Minus.
wouldn't it just be divided by 3?
divided by 3.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Huh. So we think it's, what do we think it is?
3
Then
to the
3
power.
and divided by 3.
3 to the n divided by 3. What was our equation for plan 1?
3 to the
Well, he used 2n divided by 2, and she used 2n minus 1.
Okay, but let's look at his. You
Yeah.
said it was 2 to the n
divided by 3.
divided by 2 was for plan 1.
Oh yeah.
And for plan 2, what is it?
Divided by 3.
3n,
Yeah.
or 3 to the n divided by 3.
Yeah,
And what's our growth factor for plan 3, or plan 2?
Yeah.
3.
3. Huh. What do we notice?
They're the
Thing-
exact
yeah,
same.
it's the same.
Just the
How is
variables
it?
change.
Okay, how does it change? How do we know what to change it to?
By the growth factor.
Where does the growth factor go?
Beginning. It's
From
the number that's
the
getting.
Rubas.
So that base number of the exponent is your growth factor now?
Yeah.
Very interesting. All right, so let's see if we can finish plan 2. Day 1, we have 1 ruba. Day 2, 3 rubas. Day 3, how many? Then what? Andrew, what's your question?
Well, okay, for Rubas, for that first one, did we have to do the exponential thing?
The equation?
No, for 64, for the first one.
What do you mean, the exponential thing?
Like, can we just write out the whole number?
You can write it out, or you can write it in scientific notation, because this is a lot shorter than writing it out. What was our equation for plan 1? Mark, what was our equation for plan 1?
2n divided by 3.
Our equation was 2n divided by 2. Did anybody get the 10th, 12th, or 16th one for plan 2? Tony? 12.
12, I got 5, 3, 1, 4, 4, 1,
5, 3, 1.
4, 4, 1.
So 531,441.
I did not get it. Me neither. Yeah, neither did I.
Okay. What did you guys get?
You got 177, 147.
177147.
Yeah.
Okay. How do we figure out on the 12th one? What do we have to do?
You multiply by 3.
Multiply by 3 over and over again. If we start at 1,
No, I mean,
If you-
go from 10.
if you go from 10, yeah, you'll multiply it twice. What about on the 16th one? What did we get?
I got 1, 4, 3, 4, 8, 9,
1, 4, 3, 4.
8, 8, 9.
So 14,348,907. Jason, you said you got it. What do you mean you got it?
I found the equation.
You found the equation? What's our equation?
3 triangle-looking thing.
Okay, to the exponent.
Sure. Times, 3 triangle-looking thing. The square, number of squares, by the number of squares.
Okay.
By 3.
Mark, was this the same equation we talked about over here?
Yes.
Oh, I see it now.
Anthony, what was your original equation that you thought it was?
3n minus 2.
Anthony originally thought it was 3n minus 2. And how did we check that?
We inputted n as 1 and then 2 and 3.
And we were off. Were we too small or too big?
Too small.
Too small? And then what'd you suggest?
That instead of adding the negative 1, then we add just a regular positive 1, so we do 1.
Then we just tried 3 to the n, kind of how some of us started out with 2 to the n, and we were too big or too small? Too big. So then Mark came up with 3 to the n minus 3. Mark, can you come up and explain to me what you guys talked about at your table?
Not really. I kind of muffled it. Wait, what do you mean?
How did you know it was 3 to the n divided by 3? How is that similar 2 to the n over 2? How did?
Oh, it's because of the growth factor.
Okay, so you guys told me the growth factor was what on this one? Table 3, what was the growth factor? Unplanned 2. What is the growth factor? 3. So you use the growth factor. How'd you use the growth factor?
In the dividing, how can you say that? Like as in the dividing part of the thing.
Okay, so how are these equations similar?
That they both use the growth factor to divide by the actual number.
So over here, this is our growth factor. So that's our base, and we're dividing by our growth factor. Over here, the same thing for our growth factor. Did anybody else get a different equation for this one that works? Do we remember what our second equation was for plane 1? Elena, it was yours, I believe.
3 and then n 1.
Because over here, what'd you get?
2.
Is she right? Is this also another equation? How does this use that growth factor? Where does the growth factor play into effect if we write our equation this way? How does our growth factor help us with these equations? How can we identify the growth factor in the equation?
See?
Yes.
Oh, it like subtracts 1.
Where is our growth factor? Here's our growth factor 3. Where does it show up in our equation?
Right there.
That's our base number. Over here, our growth factor is 2. Where does it show up in the equation? So our growth factor kind of helps us get these equations, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we think the king was satisfied with this plan? Does he want to give 14 million away on the last day?
No.
Yes. You can give 14 million away. I'll take 14 million. But the story does continue.